and Mike Braun is getting my vote. He's going to win, I think, by more than 2% in Indiana because Joe Donnelly, the incumbent Democrat, voted against Brett Kavanaugh. I think if there's one issue that defines a state race in a short word, it's Mike Braun would have voted to confirm Brett Kavanaugh. Joe Donnelly voted to block the wonderful justice. Mike Braun joins me now. Good morning, Mike Braun. How does it feel 48 hours from being done?
Good morning, Hugh. It feels great. I've been doing this for 14 and a half months, 14 to 18-hour days, 6 days a week, and we've had a good plan and executed it well. And you hit it on the head when Donnelly announced the first time it hit the public airwaves that he was going to vote against Kavanaugh. We could measure the difference. It gave everyone a lift, and we've been building on it ever since. So I feel really good. We've campaigned hard, and I think there's also a real appetite for somebody that comes from outside the farm system of politicians. I've been running as an outsider, entrepreneur, business guy, and that's resonating.
Mike Braun, I've had watch the president come into Indiana for you. Of course, Vice President Pence is your friend, and he's been in Indiana for you. You've had the entire star lineup, Lindsey Graham, come there. Joe Donnelly brought in Barack Obama to Gary, Indiana. Now, Gary, Indiana is a Chicago television market, pretty expensive to compete up there, and it's really Gary versus the state. I think the state's going to win. I think you're going to just roll up a margin that we're going to call Indiana pretty early, and the polls close pretty early there tomorrow, don't they?
Well, it's interesting because it was on the days all kind of blur together, but it was on Saturday evening, I believe, and we end up in Lowell, Indiana, which is in the southern part of Lake County, which is where Gary is. Hugh, the biggest, most enthusiastic crowd and rally that we've had in the whole campaign. And I've got a guy up there that's been doing a ground game that is unbelievable. We're going to carve more votes out of the county that Gary, Indiana is in than probably any recent Republican race in history. So I feel good with our ground game. We're getting enthusiasm across the state.
Mike Braun, you're also a very good candidate. I liked at the debate, the one where Joe Donnelly did the face plant on race, and you were very generous to him, but he did two face plants on race. And if it had been you, by the way, we'd have seen that in an endless loop, calling you a racist for a whole week. But we gave him a pass because we know what he meant. But you were in shirt sleeves, and Joe Donnelly looked like a K Street lobbyist. Did people notice that?
They definitely noticed it, and they noticed it the first time I did that back in the first debate in the primary when I was told clearly you wear a blue suit and a red tie and you have an option of a white shirt or a blue shirt. And I said, heck, I've not worn a tie to work in 37 years and didn't put the tie or the coat on, rolled up my sleeves. And I know that was the main takeaway back in, that would have been maybe February or so of this year. So, yeah, that's all. It's not only symbolic, it's real. I built my company in my hometown and in a blue-collar town, and we work together, and my employees are like family, and it's meant a lot. I stuck my neck out to do this, to get out of the comfort zone when I saw that there's a new dynamic in D.C., and I want to be a part of it. Fed up with business as usual until we get folks that have done things in the real world, kind of like the way the founders intended it. I think we can expect more of the same, which is inaction and dysfunction, and I'm really excited about winning this race and rolling up those sleeves and getting some things done in D.C.
Now, I flew into New York City on Saturday night to do Meet the Press on Sunday, and Chuck Todd asked me the obvious question, Mike Braun. I want you to hear this exchange where he tells me exactly what should happen tomorrow, and I explained to him why people like Mike Braun, Josh Hawley, and Martha McSally are going to win. Cut number 9.
Back now with Endgame. I want to put up a simple chart, guys, which is presidential approval and number of seats lost in a midterm. First midterm. Let me show you. We have Donald Trump's rating, 46%. We don't know how many seats his party will lose. But check out Barack Obama in his first midterm. His approval rating, 47%. 63 seats were lost. Bill Clinton, 48%, 54 seats. Hugh Hewitt, 46%. I have some Republicans going, well, hey, that's survivable. But if you look historically, and I think one of the things we failed to do in 16 was remember history was actually working against Clinton. Third term is very difficult here. History says this could be a drubbing.
I thought 6 months ago it was going to be, but there was a signal event that makes us different. Brett Kavanaugh. Governor Haslam brought it up to you. I think on Wednesday, everyone is going to be talking about Brett Kavanaugh and the lingering impact, deep, decisive, across the United States, in places like Montana, in places like Florida, as Haslam said, in Tennessee. Yeah. I think Kavanaugh is going to be the term on Wednesday that's going to be in the word cloud of punishment. Am I right, Mike Braun?
No doubt about it. We can measure it, like I said earlier, from the moment he said he was thinking about it, and then he waffled a little bit and came back and said he was definitely voting against Kavanaugh. That gave us a measurable 2 to 3 point boost, and we've been running with it ever since, and I think they're all going to be close. We are so divided as a country between folks that actually think the federal government is where you get things accomplished in this country. I believe in local and state governments and individuals to get things done, just due to the dismal results we've had at the federal level. But Kavanaugh, I think, is going to make the difference because it exposed the ugly underbelly of how Democrats litigate anything, whether it's a nomination for Supreme Court or Senate races. It's going to play in our favor.
And Joe Donnelly got down in the dirt and attacked Brett Kavanaugh, and I think that's why Mike Braun, who was running, you chose to run in a year where the wind is in your face. Kudos to you, Mike Braun. Keep running through the tape. I hope to talk to you after you are Senator-elect Braun. And it's Braun for Indiana. Follow him on Twitter, BRAUN for Indiana. And everybody who's listening to me in the Hoosier State, and I got a lot of audience there, get out there and vote, because it could be close because of just, you never know. I think actually Mike's going to win by a couple of points, but get out there and vote for Mike Braun. Thank you, Mike. I want to make sure.